Alright guys, in this video we're going to be talking about the law of cosines, and you should have already learned about the law of sines, so if you haven't watched that video yet, go back and watch that one. But the law of cosines is a formula that's going to let you find the missing measures of a triangle whenever you already know the three sides, okay, so it'll help you find an angle if you know all three sides, or if you know two of the sides and the angle in between the sides. That's what included angle means. It means the angle that's in between two sides. So if you know that, then it will help you find the third side also. Okay, so let's look at the formula. It's a little bit complicated, but let's just look at one of them. Okay, so it's the same formula, but there's just one thing that's different here and there. So essentially, if you got your triangle up here, remember the little a, b, and c are sides, and capital A, B, and C are your angles. So if we want to find the side, any of the sides, let's say we want to find A. Well, your formula is going to be A squared equals your other two sides, B squared plus C squared, minus 2 times the same two sides. So notice that this side right here, B and C, we use those again right here. Okay, so whatever two sides you use as B squared and C squared, you're going to use those same two sides times the 2. And then we have 2BC times the cosine of angle A. Notice that if we want to find side A, this is going to be angle A. So those are going to match. Okay, you can see the same thing down here. If we want to find side B, then at the end we're going to do cosine B. And in between, we'll have the other two sides, A squared and C squared, and then 2 times A and C. So it's always the side and angle that match up, and then in the middle, you're going to use the other two sides for your squareds and to be multiplied by 2. And you can see the same thing down here. This is A and B, and this is A and B. And then this is if you want to find side C or angle C. So it's the same formula, just depends on which side you're trying to find. Okay, so let's do a problem using this right here. Alright, so we want to find the measure of angle A. So this angle A is right here. Right over here is little a. And then we know little b and we know little c right here. Okay, so if we want to find angle A, then we're going to use the very first one right here, where we want to find cosine of A. So we're going to plug a, little b, and little c into the formula. So we've got A squared equals B squared plus C squared. Okay, A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2, and then the same letters, B and C, times the cosine of angle A. All right, so let's plug in the information that we know. So we know little a is 19, so it's 19 squared, equals little b is 16, so that's 16 squared. Little c is 22, so minus 2 times 16 times 22 times the cosine of angle A, which is what we're trying to find. So everything's plugged in except for the capital A, because that's what we need to figure out. All right, so then we're going to use our calculators, and we do 19 squared to get 361. 16 squared is 256, and 22 squared is 484, minus 2 times 16 times 22 is 704 cosine of A. All right, so now we're going to add these two together. 256 plus 484 is 740, minus 704 cosine of A. Okay, so now we just got to solve this. So notice 704 is multiplying cosine of A, so we're going to have to get rid of the 740. Well, it's a positive 740, so we need to minus it from both sides. So we get 361 minus 740 to be negative 379. And then over here on the right, we have negative 704 cosine of A. Okay, so it's negative 704 times, so we need to divide by negative 704 so that we get the cosine of A by itself. And when we we divide that, we get 0.53835 equals the cosine of A. Now we got to remember, how do you get rid of cosine? How do you cancel cosine? Well, you use the inverse cosine. So we do the inverse cosine of both sides. That'll cancel and leave A. And when we do the inverse cosine of 0.53835, you get 57.4. So we can round it to the tenths, say 57.4 degrees. So that means this angle right here is going to be 57.4 degrees. I know that's a lot, but it's just working through the algebra once you get everything plugged into the formula where you need it to go. Let's do another one. Okay, so this time we see we've got two sides and the angle in between. Okay, whenever you have that, you can always find that other side right here. So BC, that's this side right here. We need to find, this is angle A, then this is little a. Okay, so then the other sides, of course, this is going to be little b, and this is across from big C, so it's going to be little c. Okay, so we're going to use the same formula again because we want to find little a, but now we don't know a, so we're going to say a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of angle A. So let's plug everything in that we know. We don't know little a, so we're going to leave that a squared. And then we know b is 22.2 squared. C is 18.6 squared. So that looks like a 1, not a 7. Minus 2 times 22.2 times 18.6 cosine of angle A, which is 129. I'm running out of room over here, that's all right. So that's 120, cosine of 129 degrees. Okay, so let's figure out what each of these is. It's a lot of calculator work and algebra now. 22.2 squared is 492.84. 18.6 squared is 345.96. And then we've got 2 times 22.2 times 18.6. And you get 825.84 times the cosine of 129 degrees. Okay, so we can go ahead and times that by cosine of 129. And that gives us negative, so we're minusing a negative 519.71795. Alright, so we got 492.84 plus 345.96 minus a negative equals a squared. So now we just got to type all these in and add them up. 492.84 plus 345.96 minus a negative is really going to be a plus, right? Plus 519.71795. I just do a bunch of decimals just to make sure I don't get an answer too far off from the real one. So that gives me 1,358.51795. And then I'm going to do the square root to get rid of the square. So square root of this. So A is going to equal the square root. I'm going to type all that in. I get 36.85, so we round it to 36.9. So A is going to be about 36.9 miles. All right. So I know it's a little complicated. A lot of steps in there, a lot of math, but you guys can do it. Just plug in the numbers where they're supposed to go, and then you got to work through the math and the algebra 1 stuff that you should be able to do with solving an equation. Okay, so you guys go ahead and give it a try to the next problem. Looks like I did the third problem, so go ahead and go back to the second one and do that one, give it a try. Okay, so this one's using the same formula, except now you've got to find C. So we're going to replace the A's with C's. All right, so we'd have little c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So if you want to use the c's, then you're just going to put the a and b over here with the squares, minus 2, and then a and b, times the cosine of c this time. Okay, so let's plug in the info we've got. We don't know little c. Little c is right here, so that's going to be c squared. Little a is right here, that's 29 squared. B squared, little b is right here, so that's 18 squared. Minus 2 times 29 times 18 times the cosine of c. Well, we know that. That's big C, angle C, which is 133 degrees. All right, so let's go ahead and figure out what each of these equal. 29 squared is 841. 18 squared is 324. All right, and then we got minus. So I'm going to do 2 times 29 times 18. And I can even go ahead and do times cosine of 133. And I get negative, so I've got the minus written down already, so I'm going to have minus a negative 712.0063 basically. So c squared equals 841 plus 324 plus 712.0063. 1877.0063. And then you do the square root to get c. So square root, c equals 43.3. So our little side is going to be 43.3. If it was an angle we were finding, we would need to make sure we said it was a degree. 43.3 degrees. Okay? And actually, you can type all of this in your calculator right here at once, as long as you're finding the letter over here. If you're finding this letter, you should just type all this in at once. But if it's like the first problem, it's like this one, where we're finding the angle, then you're not going to be able to type it all in at once, okay? But on this one, you could just type in 29 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 parentheses 29 parentheses 18 times cosine of 133, and it should give you the right answer, okay? All right, so appreciate your all's attention, and we'll go ahead and practice. Let me know if you have any questions.